That, golly, y'all see that? That bait didn't fall. I guarantee you a foot below the surface, and that fish had it. Now this is a good one right here. This is a good bluegill, and I see about 2 or 3 following him right there. That's close to his size, not quite though. But look at him dragging that old eelgrass around and giving me a fid on top of it. Oh me, come on in here. He quit. He quit because he got trapped up in that eelgrass right there. Golly, that's a big one right there. That's a good gill right there. Come on in here. Yes, sir. Look at there, what a bluegill, folks. And let me squeeze his belly right here. You can see it's a male right here because he's still peeing. And I'm going to go ahead and talk about some misconceptions about these little fish right here. And we're going to talk about this bait right here that I'm using. Okay, let's put him in the bucket. That's a big gill right there. Well, good morning, folks. It's Richard Gene, the fishing machine here. It is humid as everything out here. North Alabama is one of the most humid places on earth, in my opinion. And the humidity is up 100% because we've been having rain, and today they're giving a low chance of rain for the next few days. It's not supposed to, then it's supposed to come back, which is a blessing. But what I'm doing right here is real simple. Now it is, let me look on my phone, Tuesday, June the 9th. June the 9th. Now the bluegill and shellcracker supposedly is supposed to be off of bed. But is that true? It's been a long time since we've had a full moon. And these fish are supposed to be completely off of bed, but they're not. There's still fish bedding right now. And I've talked about that on my channel. They do that all summer long. That's the reason why there's so many bluegill and shellcracker. But what I'm going to be doing today is using, one of the baits I'm going to be using is a big bite crawfish. It's an inch and something long. I believe it's an inch and a quarter long, something like that. Made by Big Bite. And I'm going to tell you, I've caught a lot of fish on this bait right here. It's an old bait, and why I quit fishing with them, I don't know. One reason is because of fads. You know, I'm all about, anytime a new bait comes out on the market, I'm all over it. And most fishermen are that way. But the fact of the matter is, bluegill and red ears, spotted sunfish, and warmouth, and green sunfish. Hey, the list goes on and on. Red bellies, all of them love little crawfish. They feed on them all the time. This bait right here I've fished for years, and I've caught some big red ears and big shellcracker on this bait for the reason that's what they eat. When I lived in Florida, I would catch them and use them alive. I would use these and freshwater grass shrimp. And believe it or not, more times than not, little crawfish like this one would outfish the grass shrimp when it comes to red ears and warmouth. So it's just something that's natural to their environment, and they eat a lot of. Now, as far as tackle goes, what I'm using is a, which I love this rod, by the way. It's a 6'9" Omen panfish and trout rod. And it has a 13 right here. So I'm not really, I don't know what to really call this rod. I found this rod at Trade Day. Give $50 for it. And, you know, $45 for it. And I felt like that was a good price. I'm using a Shimano Marrow, or Marrow, ever how you pronounce that, 1,000 size, loaded with 2-pound test line. Okay, and my jig is a 1/64 of an ounce jig head, tied with a uni knot, and that's all I'm doing. That's it, folks. So we're going to fish around some of these beds. You know, some of them are older beds and they don't have but a fish or two on them. Some of them don't have any. But now remember this, panfish don't have to have a full moon. In the month of May, y'all, let me steady this camera up. In the month of May, there's no doubt that the full moon stimulates activity as far as spawning activity, is what I'm saying, but they'll spawn all summer long. I'm gonna have to be quiet right here. Now let's look down here. Do y'all see those beds right in here? Now I don't see many fish on them, but every once in a while I'll see a fish. I absolutely see one right here, and it's a big bluegill. Let's see if we can catch him. Big bluegill. We may be a little bit too close to him to catch him, but which I believe we are. This water's clear, so I'm going to have to get out of this little predicament I'm in. I'm hemmed up against this dock almost. Oh boy, that's a big one right there. I'd love to catch that one. Let's try again. It's probably going to take long cast. One bumped it right there, but it was small. It's going to take long cast in water like this to catch them. I absolutely see one right here too. Let's pitch it. Yeah, they just ain't going to bite it like that, folks. There's some big ones laying out in here. There's quite a few big ones. Let's try that. Okay. Now right out in here, you see I didn't get any bites right there. But on out in there, there's some more beds on a long cast. There's a long cast. Now watch this. Oh, I missed him. But we did get bit right there. See, it was an immediate, almost immediate bite. Let's try that again. Golly, there's a lot of little ones out there. But now, what I'm saying is there's very few out there on those beds, but they're still bedding. They're late spawners. But they'll, like I said, they'll do this all summer long. That's why there's so many bluegill and shellcracker. Watch this. There he is. There he is. He got it that time. And that's a good one too. Darn good one. I may need to change angles right here, count the sun. I believe that's what we need to do. It might make them a little bit easier to catch. But there's another one right there. I'm going to be selective of what I keep. That one is a pretty good one, but we're going to let him go. I want the real big ones. Because I don't want but like, I don't know, 7 or 8 at the most. That's about it. Let's make another cast out there. Ain't no, golly. That fish hit it just as, it didn't sink 2 inches. Let's try that again. There he is. Golly. See, you got to be a distance away from these fish. If they see you real good, that means if they can see you, they won't hardly bite. What I'm trying to say is hard for me to talk. I love this kind of fishing, especially the ultralight tackle. This particular rod is rated for 2-pound line, but I have one with me that's rated for a 1-pound line. Let's flip him in here and see. Yeah, now I'm going to keep that one right there. I'm going to keep him. I'm going to turn some loose and keep some. But I don't need, like I said, probably not over 10. Not over 10. Let's go ahead and put him in a bucket right here. Okay. Alright, now what I do on this bait right here to give it a better fall rate is these baits, normally they have little appendages on the sides, so all I do is just take those off, folks. I narrow it up. I streamline the bait's what I'm saying. I should have told y'all that a while ago. You'll get more bites like that on this, being it's an artificial bait. It falls a little bit slow on a light jig head, I believe. Let's pitch it out there. There's a lot of fish out there. Golly. Make a long cast out there. There he is. Golly. Now this is a good one right here. This is a real good fish right here. Look at him. He got all up in that grass. Yep, that's really, I think that's the size we're looking for right there. Let's see if we can. Yeah, that's really what I want. That last one I put in there, I'm gonna go ahead and throw him out. I just caught him, but I want that size right there or bigger. Is really what I'm looking for. I want the big daddies. Yeah, you can see there's a difference in the size a little bit. Let's put him back and we'll put him on in there. That's gonna be some good eating right there, folks. All right, let's put this bait up right here for a little bit. Here's another good bait right here, made by Lunker City. A lot of y'all may be familiar with this. It's called the Helgi or Helgi. It's just 1.5, I believe is how long it is. Green pumpkin color, and it's rigged up the same way. The only difference is I'm using a sow belly rod right here. 7'1", and it's designed for 1 pound line. Really a light outfit right here, same reel. So I got 1 pound test mono on it. As clear as this water is, this 1 pound and 2 pound line is, that was a little bitty one, is real important, folks, as far as little baits like this, to get a long cast. Of course, the rod has a lot to do with it too. A flimsy rod will give you a longer cast. Let me say this too, too heavy, there's a fish, oh my, too heavy of a jig head will hinder you from catching fish like this. This water is about 4.5 feet deep to where I'm catching them. And you want a slow presentation. A lot of these fish, if you make a long enough cast, they'll hit it midway. It might fall a foot or two before they grab it. But that one's too small. That's a small male. We'll let him go. Let him go back. But the point I'm trying to get at is these fish bed year long. You know, a lot of people think it's just there at the full moon when we have one throughout the summer, but it's not. It just depends on the location where where they decide to bed. The conditions gets right, they'll bed without a full moon. And I've seen this right in the middle of August. Bass fishing up shallow, and I'd see these beds just absolutely covered up with bluegill and shellcracker. And I've seen it in ponds and big lakes like Gunnersville. I've seen it on the river, on the Tennessee River. That's a pretty good sized white spot. And that's what I'm looking for. Notice if you can see it, I don't know if you can or not. All this is grass right here. We're in 3.5, 4 feet of water right here. Then all of a sudden right here in front of me, if you notice, the water looks a little bit shallower. If you can see that, like right there where I threw. I'm right in the middle of that white spot, and there's a fish. Yes, sir. Now, he got up in that grass. This is hydrilla grass right here instead of eelgrass. Get out of there. that's a big bed of them. But that's not the size we're looking for right there. I'm looking for big ones. There he is, folks. Wow. This one right here, I can't even move. Now, he may be down in the grass or something, but I don't know. You can't never tell. Just a big old gill is all it is, I believe. This rod right here, you know, I've always talked about the limberest rod I've ever had. Well, this one right here tops the cake. Oh, it's just a big one. Golly, this is a big one, folks. This is a big one. Now, this ain't no... See if we can get him on right here. He's got some grass tangled up. This grass is a problem, but good habitat. Look here, what a bluegill. Now that right there is what we're talking about. I'm gonna let him, because I've done put several in the boat without netting them. Look at there, what one. Golly. Man, oh man. Let's see. Now, folks, that's a house daddy right there. That is a house I'm talking about. All right, folks, let's take a look at our catch right here. I think I got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 or 9. That's enough. Big old bluegill, and you talking about some good eating right there. That's some fine eating. And I had a ball. Nothing like the sport of fishing.
Oh, man, watch boogers on his pants. He'll pick a booger and wipe it on his pants. He'll dry up and he'll be brown looking.
Hey, let's talk about a couple different baits right here. And these baits right here are extremely, let me say this again, extremely effective for bluegill and shellcracker. Now, it don't matter if they're on bed or not. And it really don't matter what time of the year you fish with them. But the main thing about fishing for bluegill, shellcracker, aka red ear sunfish, is basically we're talking about using little bitty baits. The smaller the bait, oftentimes the better. But I'm going to tell you, I like to stay anywhere between the 1 inch range to around 1 1/4 inch, 1 3/8. Here is one of the old baits that I used to fish with a lot before YouTube. This bait's been around a long time, and it's made by Big Bite. There's the top of the pack right there. Big Bite has made these baits right here for years, and I'll just hold it up to you right here. It's just a little crawfish. This is an excellent bait for a big bluegill or bullgill and red ears. Okay, I'm just going to talk about them two specifically right now. But actually, they're good for all panfish. Now, what I do to make this bait more effective, in my opinion, over the years, now this bait right here measures from right here to the pinchers 1 3/8 inches. It don't really look that big, does it? But it's 1 3/8 inches long. It's small, but it's kind of long. What I do is I'll cut that top part off right there, and that leaves the little tail fins right there. Then I'll also clip these legs off. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is because it gives it, in my opinion, the correct fall rate for the size of jig head that I love to fish these little baits. This one and one more. I'm going to show you another bait right here in a second. I love to fish with these baits with this size of jig head. It provided I'm in anywhere from a foot of water to around 5. Very effective. And now, as far as the jig head, this is a Bobby Garland itty bit jig head, 1/64 of an ounce. Now, if you notice, let me get one of these jig heads out. I want to show y'all this. I've actually lightened this jig head up just a little bit. When you're fishing in real shallow water like that, the slower the fall rate, when you're fishing in water, say from a foot to 5 foot, the slower the fall rate, the better off you're going to be. Because from the surface, think about it, to the bottom is very shallow. So you don't want a bait to just go like that. They won't even see it, folks. If they do, they'll lose track of it, especially if you're fishing in aquatic vegetation, okay, where there's a lot of grass and stuff around. You want a bait that hits the top of the water and falls very slow. It gives those fish time to key in on it. And oftentimes they'll hit it just after it falls a foot or 2, or sometimes as it makes contact with the bottom, they'll pick it up. But this is how I rig them. Now, usually this little 1/64 of an ounce jig head has some lead that comes down from the ball of the jig head down about 2/3 of the shank of the hook, and I cut that off. So actually that lightens it up to probably about a 1/80th. Now this jig hook is a good one because it has a small barb. It don't have a real big barb, because if you're going to catch and release, you don't want to tear a fish's mouth up. But I do like a jig head with a barb. Now if you're using these small hooks like this, and if you're using a jig head that has hardly no barb or none at all, you'll lose them. Now I don't mind losing a few fish, I don't, but I want to catch as many as I can. I'm all about high percentage fishing, folks. So this is a very sharp hook. It's sharp enough to use with 1 pound test line. You have no trouble. All you have to do is lean back on the fish and you got him with that jig head. It is an excellent little jig head. But what I do anyway is I wrap it with dental floss along the shank of the hook, and then we'll go ahead and rig this bait up right here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. You can get the benefit out of this and not get aggravated if you're catching a lot of fish, no problem. And it won't tear your bait up very quick either by doing this. Okay, I got it rigged up right there. I'm going to slip it back real quick, and this is my favorite glue right here. This is Loctite super glue, gel type, folks. All you got to do, and this is something that I'll do, I'll prefabricate. I'll make several of these up before I even go fishing. All you got to do is put a little dab right there, push it back, and 3 or 4 minutes it'll be dry. You can catch fish after fish after fish on that bait. Now here's another bait right here that is a fish catching son of a gun. I want y'all to know it will tear them up. And it's made by Lunker City, and it's called the Helgi, or Hel. It's a little bitty Helgramite, 1.5 inch. Now on this bait, sometimes I'll shorten it up and cut that head off. See the 2 antennas? I'll cut it off like that. But it's usually not necessary. This bait right here, usually I'll just rig it up. Let me get this one right here, because we got one rigged up. Yeah, in this situation, I have cut. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I've caught several fish on that. That's what it is. But I just rig it up and glue it the same way. Let me tell you something. Let me say this. These 2 baits I'm showing y'all right now are worth having in your tackle box, because this crawfish right here, I've seen times where big shell cracker would eat this thing up. Shell cracker love crawfish, red ears. So do bluegill, but shell cracker really love them because they're always rooting around on the bottom, grabbing a hold of little snails like that and busting them with those crushers they have in the back of their throats and blowing out the snails. So in amongst a lot of those mollusks and stuff that shell cracker eat constantly, there'll be little crawfish mixed up in there, okay? And that's the reason I think they love crawfish. They're used to feeding on them. But this little helgie, it is perfect for creeks, small rivers, lakes. Oh, anywhere you want to fish it. This is a deadly bait, also rigged that way. But fishing these baits right here, let me say this. I like to use ultralight tackle, real ultralight tackle. 2 pound test monofilament or 1 pound test monofilament is my favorite to go about this. This is a very effective way to fish. And like I say, these 2 baits right here are pretty old. But I'm going to tell you what, they will always catch fish, and it don't make any difference whether it's winter, summer, spring, or fall. They're going to catch fish. Hey, man. Whoa! I want to say, God bless y'all. Thank y'all for everything y'all do. I don't know what else to say. Love each and every one of you. Hey, man. Whoa. I'm talking about whoa. The adrenaline is just now kicking in. Why did it take so long? I don't know. Hey, man. Whoa. Whoa. And remember, go fish it when you can, because it's good food.